The idea of Oldeus is frightening even before it's understood. A man broken by time, shaped by regrets, carrying in his body and mind the weight of wrong decisions and irreversible losses. When his name appears in Mushoku Tensei, he doesn't appear as a victorious hero, but as a living warning of what Rudeus could become if he chose isolation, fear, and obsession above all else. Even so, part of the community came to see Oldeus as a superior, almost definitive version, as if he represented the absolute peak of the protagonist's power. It is precisely there that the misunderstanding arises, because the more one analyzes the real, canonical, and already established history of the work, the clearer it becomes that Oldeus is not the pinnacle of Rudeus, but the reflection of everything that limits his true potential. Oldeus emerges as a Rudeus who survived, but did not evolve in the correct way. He has accumulated years of experience, yes, but isolated experience, built in a world where alliances have been lost, bonds broken, and choices driven by pain have replaced emotional and strategic growth. In Mushoku Tensei, power is never just brute force or quantity of mana. The world itself makes it clear repeatedly that relationships, continuous learning, adaptation, and support shape the true difference between the great names. Oldeus, on the contrary, treads a solitary path, trapped in a single objective, closing himself off to new possibilities. He knows a lot but learns little. He survives a lot but evolves less than it seems. Another point frequently ignored is that Oldeus does not present concrete feats that support the almost mythical image that some fans have created. He does not defeat top figures in the world, does not alter the established balance of power, and does not demonstrate clear superiority over threats that define the true limit of power in Mushoku Tensei. His advanced knowledge of magic and his experience make him dangerous, undoubtedly, but this does not automatically place him above more complete and balanced versions of Rudeus. On the contrary, the plot itself suggests that Oldeus' isolation restricts his growth, while the present-day Rudeus is strengthened precisely by trusting, cooperating with, and learning from other extraordinary characters. There is also a common mistake in confusing suffering with power. Oldeus carries deep traumas, irreparable losses, and an enormous emotional weight, and this creates an impressive aura of gravity. However, Mushoku Tensei never treated pain as an infinite source of strength. On the contrary, the work constantly shows that characters who allow themselves to be consumed by the past end up stagnant. Oldeus is not stronger because he has suffered more. He is merely more hardened. And hardening is not the same as evolving. His trajectory is marked by survival, not by true overcoming. Meanwhile, the Rudeus who follows the main storyline grows more broadly. He develops new ways of thinking, expands his magical repertoire, adapts to unpredictable situations, and, above all, builds connections that multiply his possibilities. The work makes it clear that these connections are not weaknesses, but amplifiers of power and influence. Comparing Oldeus to this version of Rudeus while ignoring this context is to reduce Mushoku Tensei to numbers and levels, something the story's own universe rejects. Perhaps that's why Oldeus has such an impact. He doesn't represent victory, but a warning. He shows what happens when talent and effort walk hand in hand, without emotional balance, and without purpose beyond obsession. He is fascinating, yes, but not because he is the strongest, but because he embodies a future that needed to be avoided. At some point in this reflection, if this analysis is making sense and leading you to see the work from a different angle, it's worth keeping this thought in mind, following more discussions like this, and walking together on this journey of deeper reading, because Mushoku Tensei always rewards those who look beyond the surface. In the end, Oldeus is not overestimated due to a lack of power, but due to excessive misinterpretation. He is not the pinnacle of Rudeus, nor the ideal model of strength within the work. He is the portrait of an incomplete path, of a potential that remained alive, but never fulfilled. Mushoku Tensei doesn't celebrate this future. It uses it as a contrast to show that true growth doesn't come merely from surviving the world, but from learning to live in it,